over 50 years, the family behind Colt Industrial Services have been at the forefront of the industrial services sector. George Telford started his first business in the shipyards of Hull, initially providing trawler owners with a cleaning service for the fish rooms aboard the abundance of vessels in the city's docks of the late 60s.
We worked in the dry docks, we worked in Indonesia, worked all over the world, which I think has really helped us as we've actually gone through. In other words, nothing really fazed us.
With offices in Aberdeen, Hong Kong and Singapore, it was located and contracted across the globe. In the 1980s, Mr. Telford, with his 3 sons, set up a new business that again would focus on the market they knew well, although they expanded the service range of the business, including into the relatively unregulated fledgling asbestos removal market. The company continued to work with high-pressure water and pioneered the development of hydro-abrasive cutting in the UK, with its powerful range of designed and built in-house cutting systems. It would go on to contract again internationally, with cutting and other services building a strong and formidable contracting business. Today, Colt Industrial Services is still a family business and continues to provide a wide, diverse range of services. The company operates both onshore and offshore within oil, gas, rail, utilities and many other specialist sectors, contracting a strong professional workforce supported by some of the most modern plant and equipment in the market today.
We'd always been, as a family business, we'd always been in industrial services. We've always had certain elements of specialist services that other companies didn't have the choice of doing, because we developed equipment that only, as a business, only we had. Certainly in the last 5 to 6, 7 years, we've seen our business expand in virtually every service that we do.
We've actually controlled growth. We haven't gone out and acquired new companies. We've gradually controlled growth, and we've done it through internal resources.
Without doubt, as a business that operates within some of the most hazardous environments in commercial contracting, health, safety and environmental management are critical to the continued success of the company. Capital plant apart, the business spends more on training, accreditation and a rigorous health, safety, quality and environment regime than on any other area. In addition to our rigorous internal audit and monitoring process, we're also subject to many external audits from various certification bodies, including Achilles, UVDB, FPAL, LinkUp, CONCOM, ISO 9001, 14001 and OHSAS 18001. These monitoring and testing regimes gives us assurance that our management systems and process are fit for purpose and compliant at the highest level. We regularly pass audits within the top 10% order and place no higher expectation on any area of the business.
We are actually externally accredited over a wide range of areas, and the blue chip companies demand that, and they won't work with you without that as a baseline.
Our lads are trained in everything. You know, they spend most of the time probably getting, or it must feel like to them, getting certificates for this, because you have to have paperwork for everything nowadays.
We're actually running something like 70, 80 different training courses each year.
If we get a job coming up at short notice that we haven't got skills for at that particular time, we can sort a training course out and get the lads up to speed.
Colt management and staff have continued that original ethos of equipment development with the operation of a large modern fabrication and welding shop that also caters for HGV truck maintenance as well as mechanical services. We firmly believe that we cannot be completely independent of others unless we have the facility to develop and maintain our mechanical support services using our own facilities. By operating such a facility, we are able to innovate and develop specialist equipment that enhances the services we offer and keeps us always at the forefront of technology. As a business, we design and build over 70% of our capital plant, and well over 80% of our maintenance and inspection requirements are completed in-house. In the offshore sector, we manufacture all our capital plant to full ATEX standard, including jetting systems, macerators and pump power packs. Most of the ancillary equipment we use is again fabricated in-house, much of it to the bespoke requirements of the customer.
It's quite often you get contractors or clients coming to you and asking you to fulfill a job or a role, you know, work scope, and a lot of people steer clear of it because it's too difficult, it's too hard. Colts don't do that. They'll take a job on and away they go. If they can find a way around it or design a machine to do it, that's what we do.
We've always innovated for industry, and I think that's what's kept us up in front, probably of other people. We haven't sat on our laurels and said how good we were in the past. We've obviously tried to keep that going for the future.
What we're doing is we're modifying our machines at the moment. We're bringing them all up to date, up to the new standards. But the best thing was, with actually working out there myself, I know what we need in a machine. I know, as what I would like to use, what the lads I work with want to use, so we know what we're building.
I don't believe that we at the top, although we've had many years, I don't believe that we have all the answers by any means. These guys go out and they see different ways of doing things, they come up with their own ideas of doing things, and I'm quite happy to listen to anybody in the business that's got a good idea that we can develop into something that we can use on a particular contract, on a particular problem.
In the late 1960s, George Telford brought some of the first high-pressure jetting systems into the UK from the then fledgling German manufacturers of the time. Colt continued to operate the very latest technology in ultra-high pressure and conventional high-pressure cleaning technology. We use and develop the latest ancillaries, offering a wide range of cleaning and descaling heads with 360-degree penetration into the most restrictive areas. We operate a fleet of modern hot washing systems, as well as cold high-volume systems that move over a ton of water every minute through a moving three-dimensional cleaning head. Some of our more specialist systems access the tightest and most restrictive spaces of fuel and oil lubricating tanks found on emergency generator and turbine skids offshore. Wherever there is a need for high-pressure water cleaning, we almost certainly have a system that covers the individual requirements of the application.
We've got our hydro-abrasive cutting, which we helped pioneer. We pioneered the technology when it was first around, and we've used that all over the world. You've got jetting, you've got ultra-high pressure jetting, you've got tank cleaning, where I think it was last year we cleaned the biggest storage tank in England, which was over 90 metres across diameter. Huge, it's like a cathedral inside.
In one form or another, Colt have offered the facilitation for the movement of solids by air for almost 25 years. We use both 4- and 6-inch Roots blowers and a number of alternative air movers such as hose halo conveyors and Venturi vacuum systems. With many of the systems we operate, we combine hoppers as well as bagging and collector units such as sealed skips to facilitate the contract. Many of the contracts we undertake include the processing of the media being handled, incorporating vibrating screens and other separation technologies to segregate the often expensive product from the residual waste material. All our air conveying systems are operated by some of the most experienced supervision and personnel in the industry. Our management and operatives help with the movement of catalysts and insulating media from some of the largest plants in the UK.
There's no sort of different levels in, people all sort of mix together pretty well on it, and I think that's the reason it probably works.
People, if you ask them, have worked here 10, 15, 20 years.
Colt directors developed the unique direct injection hydro-abrasive cutting process over 30 years ago in the UK, extending it through both contracting and equipment sales worldwide. Our cutting systems uniquely operate at extremely low pressures of 6,000 psi or less. Colt design and build a range of units that operate both onshore and offshore, surface or subsea, with all units developed to the various zoning standards found throughout the industry. Contracting internationally and within the UK, we regularly manipulate large and small complex structures with a wide selection of hydraulically driven manipulation developed to be powered and operated from the primary unit. Our units will cut steel up to a thickness of 150 millimeters and complete cuts built up from several materials such as refractory of concrete-lined vessels or rubber and coated pipework commonly found throughout various market sectors.
Directors are always accessible, and anyone down, you've got a problem, you can just go into one of the offices and the meeting rooms, discuss it and find the best way forward and go from there.
Our construction division rose from the requirement of the refining industry to utilise conventional construction services, but within a hazardous and unconventional environment. From the refineries, we've moved over the last decade into the rail industry. Our operatives cover the UK as approved rail contract engineers, and we operate more specifically under a selective framework contract for the London North East area within Network Rail's 10 directorates. Throughout the night and across most weekends of the year, we can be found at major junctions and stations, as well as elements of selected track, providing the unseen construction services the general public rarely see. Our industrial divisions, such as asbestos removal, cleaning and painting services, cover platforms, stations and signal boxes up and down the country.
A lot of our clients, we do a lot of work in London, and obviously we cover from King's Cross to Berwick-on-Tweed, but our clients are over the moon really, because they can literally pick up the phone, and where big companies, to get something done, it might take a few days. They pick up the phone with us and we can be on site within an hour, and I think that's a big benefit to them, and I think that's why we get the repeat business we've got.
One of the largest services Colt provide is our tank cleaning service. We clean, test, shot blast and paint hundreds of tanks every year, from the cathedral-like land-based storage tanks to small separators and exchangers. We clean tanks onshore and offshore. In the process of cleaning the range of tanks, we operate a wide range of tank cleaning systems: hot and cold high-pressure water jetters, boilers and heat exchangers with centrifuges for processing liquids and solids. We operate one of only 2 complete electronically controlled remote tank cleaning systems, where all nozzles are controlled remotely within a nitrogen atmosphere, and CCTV camera systems provide a view within the tank whilst cleaning progresses. Colt build their own hydraulic power packs to power high-volume load pumps capable of moving loads up to 3 metric cubes per hour. Our operators are some of the most experienced tank cleaners in the country, with all accreditations and certification necessary to work safely in an extremely volatile environment.
I think it's because they have a hands-on approach to everything, but then also give you the free rein to carry out your role and your responsibilities.
Many of Colt's operatives have over 20 years of working within the now highly regulated asbestos removal market. In the past 5 years, we've been accredited on several occasions by ARCA, with awards such as the Gold Award in 2010-2011. Colt staff will operate in crews across the country with access to the very latest removal, suppression and containment equipment in the market today. We're approved for contractors for most of the large organisation and government bodies, and regularly complete work in both hazardous and non-hazardous areas offshore and onshore.
All the feedback that we seem to get back from the clients, very positive, very impressed, and willing to do business with us again, which is ideally what we're after.
We just give a good service basically, you know, we know what we're doing, and because we do a decent service, they get us back time and again.
Colt operate one of the largest waste management vehicle fleets in the northeast of the country. Our management and staff routinely deal with waste on a daily basis, and we operate a 5-acre licensed site with a full drum compound licence. The largest sector of equipment we operate is materials handling. We operate a fleet of hydraulic, pneumatic and electrically driven pumps. Along with the pumps we operate, we equally use filters, screens, bins and tanks to produce and hold various waste types. Whether it be solid or liquid, we move thousands of tonnes every year and cater for all necessary equipment to deal with it.
They give us the job, they don't worry about it. We see it through from start to the end, and hopefully get a pat on the back for doing it.
Oh, quite often we've had emails of recommendation, thanks for the lads that have been out working in the field. It's not unusual to get things sent through. And just the other day, one of the lads had helped a lady with a breakdown at the side of a road, and she got back in touch with and sent him a bottle of wine.
Colt operate a number of add-on services to the primary sectors we cater for. We provide specialist personnel only from a large, permanently employed workforce. We have many operatives that have over 20 years with the company and have spent their lives working to our systems and the highest standards of professional safety in the industry. Over many years of contracting, we've worked on some of the highest profile work areas, both in the UK and internationally. After the first Gulf War, we sent personnel to work on the well fires. More recently, we've provided bomb disposal equipment and specialist training for both Iraq and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, when a disaster strikes, we're often one of the companies that works on the cleanup, and we have assisted on many of the major incident cleanups after fires and major rail and road incidents. Lastly, we had management and personnel involved in many of the sites that formed part of the UK Olympic Games. Wherever it is, we will provide the very latest equipment and the very best management and personnel in the industrial services sector.